Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Today it's Thursday, which means that tomorrow is Friday, and Friday it means Juventus Day, because it's like that since a few weeks. Tomorrow we kick off again the match days in Serie A, match day 16 in the home of Genoa against Genoa. And when you're looking at the starting lineups, or at least at the team of Genoa, you know that you will already concede one goal. Why? Because there is that guy that is back, Malinowski. I was so happy when he went to Marseille. The guy decided to come back in Italy to play again against Juve, and we know it. A shot from the distance, a goal. Szczesny will not be able to save it. It is what it is. So Juventus will have to score at least 2 goals tomorrow if they want to win and put some pressure on the momentarily leaders that are Inter. We will come back on the game of Genoa in a second, but there are so many things that I want to speak about. Milan out of the Champions League. What is the benefit for Juve in that story? I want to speak about the youth, Yildiz Huijsen Soulé. Looks like everyone wants to sell them. Looks like Juventus, they hired Giuntoli to sell them. What is true, what is not true, we'll speak about that. But before speaking about it, let me remind you that yesterday I did a fantastic video. At least that's what I think. A video that I really emotionally linked to. The tribute to Giorgio Chiellini, that according to me didn't receive the views that it deserves. So if you didn't yet, please go back and watch that one, and you tell me here in the comment section what Giorgio Chiellini has represented to you. Do it. Please, maximum of like on today's video. We are that close to 28,000. That would be a beautiful target before the end of the year. There are still 16 days to go, so we can do it. I'm counting on you, because now we start. Because in the video of yesterday of Giorgio Chiellini, there was probably one thing that I forgot to put in, because I didn't know the truth. I didn't know the complete story about it. And Giorgio Chiellini is explaining us yesterday on the microphones. He told us that image that went viral and that became a meme of him doing a tongue gesture to Paulo Dybala. It was actually not for Paulo Dybala, it was for Riccardo Orsolini, because we were playing against Bologna, and Orsolini, before the game, he told Chiellini, I will come and I will F you. I will not repeat the word that he said because it's a bit, but it's football talk, it's on the field talk. Anyway, Giorgio Chiellini, a few seconds later, he looked at him and he did that tongue gesture telling him, come and try to catch me. People, or the cameraman, was really thinking that it was Paulo Dybala, because we know and we all remember the face of Paulo Dybala that was looking like that, like all of us did. Well, now at least we know the truth. It was not for Paulo, it was for Riccardo Orsolini, ex-Juve player. Now that we close that chapter finally with the answer, we can open new ones. Milan is back where they deserve. Karma. Am I angry against Milan? Absolutely not, because it's a consequence. But they are back in Europa League. Why? Because that's where they belong. They didn't deserve to be in Champions League. You know that spot was for Juventus. The spot, the money was for that. Probably a better mercato. Well, because of the off-the-field topics, Juventus was taken back. And the position to play and the possibility to play Champions League 23-24, by the way, it's the last time in history that we are playing these group stages, because from now on there will be a new formula from next season, 24-25, where there will be that Swiss system all in a group. We will speak about that. Anyway, Milan is not there anymore. Why? Because yesterday they won, but it was not enough. You see on Corriere dello Sport that they are showing actually Chukwueze, that yesterday entered. First touch of the ball, he's scoring. He will tell me, Beppe, what are you speaking about? Milan. We know that you have a second channel that is called Footballed. And if we want to know more about international clubs, about Serie A clubs, about whatever, we go on that channel. But wait, because this one is important, because we are speaking about Juve. Why? Because them not going in Champions League knockout stages to the next round mean that they are out of that race for that FIFA World Club in 2025. Extremely important for every single Italian club, especially for Juventus, after not playing this Champions League and losing more than 100 million euro. It is super important for the brand, for the image, to participate, to try to win a new trophy, because you know it, Juventus was the very first club to win all the possible European competition. If we can do that one, beautiful, no? Beautiful. Also going on the mercato and telling players, oh, we are a team that will participate to that World Cup, could be so attractive. Well, Milan, we know it, they didn't deserve to be in Champions League. They were there, they did a mercato, and it was not enough. Like Gazzetta dello Sport is saying, troppo tardi, too late. That victory against Newcastle yesterday, too late. It didn't arrive on time. Why? Because it's Paris Saint-Germain that is going there. So 3 Italian clubs to the knockout stages. We still have to pay attention to Napoli, because Napoli, according to the rumors, They can't reach the semi-final. If they reach the semi-final, it will be Napoli that will go to the FIFA World Cup 2025. We already eliminated Milan, and that's good. The other good news of Milan playing in Europa League is the fact that they will continue European competition, because you know it, they are now at -7 in the ranking, and we know that we have a bit of margin, but if they were out of every competition, they could focus on only one. And with all the injuries they had, probably it would have even be better for them to play only one competition. Will not be the case. They will play on Thursday, and we know it because we were there last year. Playing on Thursday, it's always really a pain in the A. I will just don't want to say the word. Anyway, out of the competitions for Champions League for Milan, the other ones are Napoli, Lazio that lost yesterday against Atletico Madrid, and Inter. We'll come back on Inter in a second. The good news is that tomorrow we play against Genoa, and the extremely good news is all the players, bar except of De Sciglio, are back. Even Rabiot, that in the beginning of the week was training partially, individually, alone, and we were not sure if yes or no he would be a starter. Well, yesterday he did a training session with the team, so Max Allegri has all his men at disposal, and he can go with whatever formation he wants, with whatever lineup he wants. According to a lot of papers, to television, the predicted lineup would be the same exact as the last game that we play against Napoli. Good news? I don't know. Because you remember that famous record beaten now by Italiano with Fiorentina. That famous record of Max Allegri never changing lineup. Doing, I believe, 112 different lineups consecutively. Never the same since Allegri 2.0. Well, the only time that he did it, do you remember? It was against Sassuolo, and we lost. And we lost 4-2. We lost really big, the only loss in this season. So do we want really to see the same lineups? Yes or no? I remember that before that Sassuolo game, all the people were telling me, but we have to play with the same lineup at least 2 games in a row. We have to do it. Now I'm not sure anymore. Tell me, who is the player that you would not put? You know, just to change a lineup. Who is the player that played against Napoli that you don't want to see now against Genoa? Let me know. One player that I want to see, of course, is Federico Gatti, because he's at the moment on fire. 2 consecutive goals, 6 points thanks to him in the last 2 games. And we saw also his Team of the Week card of FIFA that increased with a beautiful card, 86. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all the players that are playing EA and that wants more and more Juve players in their team. Anyway, we go to the youth because I wanted to speak about Huijsen Soulé, Yildiz. If we are looking at all the rumors, if we are reading the papers, if it looks like Giuntoli arrived to Juve with one mission: destroying everything that we built in the last few years. That means project next gen, project youth. Why? Because according to the papers, looks like Juventus wants to sell all of them. They are looking for, can we sell Yildiz? Can we sell Soulé? Can we sell Barrenechea? Caio Jorge? Let's sell him. Huijsen? Let's sell him. Calma. So what is the truth? According to that situation, Juventus, they have no intention to sell any of their jewels, their young players. That's not the first thing on the list of Giuntoli, of Manna, of whoever is taking care of the mercato, Allegri, whatever. No, we want to keep them, we want to invest in them, and the latest renewals, they are going into that direction. Renewal for Huijsen, do you remember? Renewal for Kenan Yildiz, renewal for Joseph Nonje that didn't start yet in the first team in an official game. So Juventus has a clear plan. Keeping them, continuing to invest in them, and believe in these young players for the future. Recent future, medium future, and also the far future. That's the intention of Juve. Now we know it. Serie A has huge difficulties financially. There is no club in Serie A. I'm speaking about all the clubs. Bottom teams, middle teams, top teams that can refuse big money, because we need it. Financially, we need it. Serie A, but also Juventus, we know it. We spoke about it all last season, also this season. The huge, difficult financial impact. And it's true that we received a capital increase, which is great, that gives us a bit of fresh air, that can make us think and take the right decisions. But we are not rich at the moment. If you're speaking about Juventus as a club. Financially, we are still in loss, and we have to become sustainable. But a lot of times we forget what has been the lines. Sustainable on the mercato in terms of salary, in terms of the value of a player that you are paying, but also investing on youth and continue to develop these players. So the intention is not to sell them. Then, if a big club that has no financial problems, Arsenal, is coming and is telling you, we give you 40 million, we give you 45 million for Kenan Yildiz, for Soulé, it's not that you say yes immediately, but you sit at the table and you think about it, because it's the reality. Is it a sad reality? Absolutely yes, because that's not the situation that you want to be in. But you have to take time to sit on the table and to look at all the different options. So I'm not surprised that the papers are speaking about Yildiz selling, this we sell, because at the moment it's also these players that has the most appetite, or clubs are really most interesting in. For what reason? Because these players, they have a quite limited salary, so they can go with a 1 million, 3 million offer salary, which would be a great improvement for these players, what Juventus can't pay at the moment, because we are in that sustainable phase. And also because these players, they are not yet at the moment worth 150 million euro, 100 million euro, what they can become in 1 or 2 years. So of course these clubs are interested in these players. And then Juventus is looking for reinforcing themselves in the winter. How many names did we speak about in the last few mercato sessions, but also in the last few weeks? In the midfield, we went from Højbjerg to Calvin Phillips, that yesterday played and scored a penalty at the 85th minute with Manchester City. We spoke about so many players. These players, of course, they cost money. We're even speaking about Sancho at a certain moment. Then, in the last 2 days, we have apparently a dream that is Koopmeiners, that in the summer Atalanta refused 45 million euro. These 45 million euro in January will not be enough to sign a player like that. And we know that Juventus is looking for a midfielder, maybe an offensive midfielder like Sudakov. Yes, it's true, we are looking. And these players, if you want to go for them, you need to have the finances. You need to have the money for them. And who do you have to sacrifice? Well, if people, and you remember all the protests they were, don't touch Dusan Vlahovic in the summer, don't touch Federico Chiesa in the summer, don't touch Bremer, luckily, because he's performing crazy this season. That money has to come from somewhere, and all the roads are leading towards potentially one of these players that can be sacrificed, like for example Ealing Jr., that is the one that is closest to the exit door. That's why journalists, they are thinking about it logically, and they're saying this player, probably one of them, if not two of them, they will leave Juve to reinforce. Now, is it a fact? Is it sure? No. So calma, tranquilli. Also because, honestly, we saw it last season, Dusan Vlahovic was on the market. It was also confirmed by Giuntoli that said, if a crazy offer arrives, we sit at the table and we discuss it. Did really that huge offer arrived? Not the one that Juventus was expecting. And if you're looking at the season of Dusan, but also Federico Chiesa, at the moment they are not at the level of what Juventus think that they are worth in terms of value. Dusan Vlahovic, if he needs to leave Juve, it's for 70 million euro. The performance that he's doing, we are not speaking about potential, we are not speaking whatever you want, we are speaking about facts, about on the field at the moment. Are the performances of Dusan Vlahovic worth 10 million euro salary at the moment? No. Are the performances of Dusan Vlahovic worth 70 million euro investment from a new club? No. So that's why Juventus is thinking, maybe let's look for alternatives if no offers arrive for these big players. You see the way of thinking, because Gazzetta dello Sport is saying Vlahovic e Chiesa serve di più. Vlahovic and Chiesa, more is needed to chase Inter in that lotta scudetto, in that title race. More is needed from our striker, because you know it at the moment, Gatti, 3 goals in Serie A, is right after Chiesa, 1 goal less and 2 goals less of Vlahovic. This is not enough. They have to do much better already against Genoa tomorrow. And then I see some names and I go totally crazy, because the Gazzetta dello Sport, they are making sure that Juventini, they dream and that they are going totally out of reality. Nuovo bomber, new bomber. The Nigerian Boniface is the first objective in case Dusan Vlahovic is leaving. Ragazzi, but what are we speaking about? I don't think that in the winter there will be a huge offer for Dusan Vlahovic. One. In the summer, I am not sure. Then Boniface, it was an opportunity last mercato before he went to Leverkusen, where he had still an okay price to go for 25, 30 million euro because he was already doing well at Union Saint-Gilloise. Now at Leverkusen, he's banging goal. 8 goals already in Bundesliga, even more if we are looking at the Europa League. I believe he's already reached 12 goals. He has a price that is not even in proportion. There was an article, I didn't read it. Why? Because looking at the big title, the striker is the preferred one of Jun Tolienko. He's scoring goals and goals and goals at Leverkusen. 40 millions could not even be enough to pay him. What are we speaking about? Why are you even mentioning Boniface? Anyway, we go towards the run, the title race, the battle, Juve-Inter, that is becoming more and more a mental game. Because at the moment, and it will not last long because it's the last one, but at the moment we are playing always before Inter on Friday. We are there. We are putting, if we win, pressure on Inter. Inter, they need to resist because every time they have to chase back to take that first spot. So mentally it will be important. Already tomorrow, because we are playing on Friday, we have again a match point that we are taking. And then we will play after Inter, but we will have to be as strong as Inter. When they know that they can again surpass Juve, at the moment they always showed it, they did it. We will have to be as strong as them. What is giving me conviction? The words of Evra today in Tuttosport double-page interview where he said, well, looks like Juve, they had that Scudetto anger. Why? Because it looks like the Juventus of this year is giving me Italy 2006 vibes. He played with France. He remembers really well because he lost the final against Juve in 2006 when he was playing with France. Well, he remembers really well that Juventus, there was Calciopoli at that time. And all the Juve players that were in the national team, but also Lippi, that was the coach of Italy, they transformed that anger off the field because they didn't know what their future would look like. They didn't know where they would play. They transformed it in anger on the field to go and win a huge title. And he's saying, I feel the same vibes with a Juve that was pissed off of what happened off the field last season, that they are not playing Champions League, and that they were obliged to see Milan for 6 games in Champions League this season, that they were able to do mercato and not ourselves. That anger putting on the field to try to do whatever they can this season. Beautiful words of Evra that even said something more. Pay attention. He said, there is the game style, there is whatever you want to, but there is something that is absolutely not a point that we have to neglect. The journalist is asking, what are you speaking about? He said, the fact that Inter is scared about Juventus. They know that they are strong, and they know that they have that revenge feeling inside, that anger inside. And the journalist is saying, but how do you know? Sorry, is it a player that told you that, a player from Inter? He said, bravo. Yes, indeed, it's a player from Inter, but I will never reveal you which player told me that. And how do we know that they are scared? Because the words of Evra are one thing. Look at the Champions League. The last 2 rounds of Inter, they made a mega rotation. Mega rotation. Lautaro is not playing. He's the only striker, the only top striker from the big teams that is not playing in Champions League. Because their objective, more than Champions League, where they know that last year they did a miracle arriving to the final, deserved, yeah, but it was still a miracle. Their big objective is Scudetto. They want to go for that 20th. They want to put a second star before Milan. Maximum of like, subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza. Juve.